This is Good Morning San Diego.
Good morning, San Diego. I'm Elizabeth Alvarez.
And I'm Allie Wagner. Today is Sunday, August 22nd.
All right, so strap on your seatbelt. We have a lot going on this hour. We'll get back to Mark Mathis. We've got a band here in studio. We've also got important conversations and issues to talk about, and one of them having to do, with Reopen San Diego, a group with a couple of ladies you're probably familiar with, Amy and Allison. They've been on our show a number of times. They were really at the forefront of getting the community together and holding rallies and trying to reopen businesses and reopen San Diego during the pandemic. They're going to be on the show. We're going to talk to them about where we are today as we continue to see many rallies. A lot of people continue to speak out about the current state here in San Diego County as it relates to COVID restrictions. More than 120 people addressed the San Diego County Board of Supervisors last week. Most, if not all of them, were frustrated over the county's actions on vaccination and mask recommendations, at least those showing up to talk and address the board. So right now, we turn to Reopen San Diego leaders. Amy Reichert and Allison Hartman are joining us to talk about what happened last week, where we are today, and the overall feeling that so many people in the community have right now. Ladies, good morning. Welcome to Good Morning San Diego at this 10 o'clock hour.
Liz. Good morning, Liz.
How are you guys?
So pumped up. So excited.
Well, let's talk about what happened on last week, on Tuesday during the County Board of Supervisors meeting. What a show of support, at least for your group and others who feel the same as you two ladies about where we are right now with COVID-19 restrictions in the county. Tell me what your thoughts are, because we want to roll some video and kind of show San Diegans what happened, what has transpired, starting on Tuesday especially.
Yeah, so, it's been a dream of Reopen San Diego for a long time to get this many people out. And I think people really understood that now is the time to show up. What they're trying to do with us in San Diego is they're trying to segregate us. They're trying to create a two-tiered society. And, San Diegans just are not having it. That's not okay with us. This is our community. We've got people that have taken the vaccine, that haven't taken the vaccine, and we can all agree that a two-tiered society is not okay in San Diego. So this is really about love. It's about inclusion, and it's about standing together. And it was just such a historic moment. We're so excited about what happened Tuesday.
Yeah, and about how many people spoke in overall, would you say? Do you even know like a number? Because I understand there was a line pretty much out the door.
Yes, it was amazing. I actually spoke with the San Diego County Sheriff's deputy who's worked at the San Diego County Administration Building for 6 years, and he said he has never seen a line out the door all the way to West Ash with that many people signed up to speak in the entire time that he's ever worked there. And we actually had 400 people at a rally at 9 a.m. a couple hours before the meeting started. I want to give a shout out to Rise Up San Diego and Let Them Breathe. This wasn't just about Reopen San Diego. This was a coalition of many groups that have come together for this. And I will tell you that Nathan Fletcher pulled a fast one, because those people, about 200, wanted to actually speak at the public comment time, and he pushed it to the end of the meeting. But guess what? People stayed anyway, all the way for item number 7, and that's where you saw 120 people speak.
So the bottom line here, ladies, is what does Reopen San Diego and other similar groups want right now?
We want them to lift the COVID restrictions. We want them to end the state of emergency. We want them to stop pushing businesses to do vaccine passports, which segregates us and divides us. We've had so many people contact our group and say, they're going to lose their job. They do not want to take this vaccine, and they've got their right to make their own medical decision. That's what we believe at Reopen. So really,
well, Allison, let me interject really quick, because some on the other side of this issue would say, well, Miss Allison, the San Diego County is not pushing businesses to mask up or to require vaccines. They are encouraging, or they are recommending. Your response to that?
Yeah, they're pushing it, and even though there's no legal basis for them to do so. So what we're going to say is, businesses, stand for your community. Do not participate in segregation and discrimination. We've got a proclamation against discrimination on our website that businesses can sign on to. We've got over 100 businesses already locally. And, basically we're all coming together saying, no, we're not doing this. We're not going to discriminate against each other.
Well, Allison and Amy, thank you once again for taking a few moments to talk to us live here in our 10 o'clock hour about the current feeling among so many concerned members of the community here in San Diego. We appreciate it. We do have a special half hour that KUSI has set apart and designated to allow many people to voice their concerns. We're going to play some of those public comments that were made during last week's meeting on the air starting at 10:30. Thank you so much. We'll be in touch soon. Good morning. It is 10:30. This past week, the San Diego Board of Supervisors held their regularly scheduled meeting, but found that they were faced with a long line of citizens standing to voice their objections to recommendations and what they view as government overreach, in their lives.
It began with this group of protesters outside the chambers from a number of groups, including anti-mask advocates, those opposed to rules restricting small businesses, gym owners, moms, and others just not happy with the restrictions on their liberty limited by the supervisors in their view. The board and Chair Nathan Fletcher had just issued a recommendation to all businesses to require vaccine proof or a negative test to stay employed. This seemed to be the last straw for many of these vaccine proof or a negative test to stay employed. This seemed to be the last straw for many of these groups and people who were fed up with being told what to do.
We have consolidated some of that many hour sessions so that you can hear the voices and judge for yourself what was said. Here is the first segment of those who came forward to speak.
My name is Lou Yurdell. I'm the owner of Metroflex Gym in Oceanside. It's been 18 months since people have been so scared to ask employers to do your dirty work. Asking them to mandate vaccines is another misstep in a parade of failures of our government. You want to know why there's so much kickback on this? We simply don't trust you. And why would we? It's gone from 2 weeks to flatten the curve to show me your papers if you want to work here. It went from stemming the flow of the ICU overflow to eradicating a virus that'll never go away. Stemming the flow of the ICU overflow to eradicating a virus that'll never go away. The proof is in Israel with the highest rates of vaccines and many more breakthrough cases than ever seen. Masks didn't work, stay-at-home orders didn't work, and lockdowns will go down in history as one of the greatest blunders of our time. We talk about personal responsibility in getting the vaccine. Dr. Wilma Wooten, not once have I heard you or any other health officer talk about the importance of the fact that 78% of the people admitted to the ICU were overweight or obese. You nor our elected officials, minus Jim Desmond, have ever mentioned the effectiveness of maintaining healthy weight, exercise, proper nutrition, vitamin supplementation. Not a peep. We are talking about health? We talking about health? Instead, we get wear a mask, stay home, close your business, and take this shot, none of which boosts your immune system. Don't talk to me about personal responsibility until every employer is held responsible for injury resulting from this shot when they require it, or big pharma companies are held liable. I'm going to make this real simple for y'all. I will never, and I mean ever, submit to any request or requirement to wear masks or vaccine mandates. I will never submit to rules that segregate or dismantle people and put them against each other. Thank you.
Good afternoon, supervisors. Thank you for taking your time out of your busy day to come here and listen to your constituents.
Can you please state your name for the audio record?
Oh, forgive me, I'll start at the beginning. Hello, my name is Sean Fredrickson. We meet again. You seem to ignore them. I will tell you what they're saying. This COVID pandemic has ended, Nathan Fletcher. Wilma Wooten, we realize where you're getting your commands or your dictates from. Nathan Fletcher, we realize where you're getting your commands or your dictates from. Nathan Fletcher, we realize what you're doing too. We are here as your constituents to tell you this is over. San Diego is no longer under your rule of thumb. Nathan Fletcher, you need to know we're coming for you too. There has been a recall that's been started for one dictator. There will be another if necessary. Your constituents are here, Nathan. Do you see them? They're up here, Nathan. Are you looking? They're making noise, Nathan. Do you see them? This must be difficult for you because your authority is being pummeled by the people. We're here to inform you, the people have spoken. COVID is over. The numbers you've stated are propaganda. And Wilma, as a recap, here we go. Last month we went through this, 36. How much propaganda are we going to use for the death of 36 people? How many rights are we going to take? And Nathan, how many lies are you going to continue to propagate? The time is now, people. Either you get removed or you stand up on some truth. Thank you.
Hello, my name is Olivia Castrejon Solis, and I'm 11 years old. This past year and a half has been very difficult for me. First, my school shut down and my church closed. I had to move to virtual learning, and that was very stressful and dumb. I miss seeing my friends in person, and when I finally got to return to school, it was only for 2 half days a week. The rest of the week I was expected to attend Zoom classes, which were boring and made it hard to learn. When I was on the school campus, there were ridiculous measures in place. We could only walk in one direction around the school, no matter how many people were in the hallway, and that made the walk to the bathroom twice as long as usual. We had temperature checks before we entered the school, and there were plex up while eating. I could barely hear my teacher through her mask. I couldn't hug my friends or even see their faces. It made me very sad to keep 6 feet away from them. It was hard to breathe in a mask. I often felt lightheaded and nauseous while wearing one, but it seemed like my teachers in my school didn't care about my health. They wouldn't even accept my medical exemption. And masks don't even stop viruses from being transmitted, but they do cause headaches and other symptoms. And they put children at risk from bacterial infections, dental cavities, and high blood carbon dioxide levels. Also, kids are almost at zero risk of getting seriously ill from COVID. Blood carbon dioxide levels. Also, kids are almost at zero risk of getting seriously ill from COVID. So vaccines on children make absolutely no sense. And thank you for listening to me. Have a good afternoon.
Good afternoon, supervisors. My name is Melanie Burkholder, and I'm a Carlsbad resident, also running for office. I came this afternoon primarily because I'm a mental health therapist. While I would love to be talking about supporting our police to fully engage and do the protect and serve as a former Fed myself, I think that's really important. I came here today to talk to you about mental health. And while I know some of us are wondering if Mr. Fletcher is writing a novel, it's actually not what he's doing. If you just check out his Twitter feed, you can see what he's been doing for the past couple of hours. I think we deserve the respect that we are giving you by addressing all of you. 18 months ago, I became aware that I was not allowed to go to church and worship God. I couldn't have my children in sports to play and be physically active. And then I couldn't send them to school. And so I became what is known as a mama bear, and I am a mental health therapist. So I went on the news and said, hey guys, we don't know what we're doing to these children. These children, look at them up there. There's 10 or 15 children up there. To these kids over the last 18 months. Guess what? It's 18 months later. We do know They're committing suicide. There's an increased rate in suicide attempt and ideation. I'm seeing it in my own practice. Fear, phobia, anxiety, depression, ADHD on the rise. Own practice. Fear, phobia, anxiety, depression, ADHD on the rise because we put them in front of a screen for a year. This is not acceptable. And while I know you are a governing body, most of you are parents. Dig deep. Dig into that feeling. If that helps you make the right choice moving forward with the COVID response, we need to fight for our children. That's what we're doing. We're standing in the gap. We're doing what any of you as parents would do. It's not personal. I signed up to protect and serve once. I'll do it again, and this time it is personal.
Thank you, ma'am.
I'm Sharon McKeeman. I'm a mom of 4, a military wife, and the founder of Let Them Breathe. I already called on you to honor our inalienable human rights that we're entitled to just by breathing. Those include being able to choose what does or does not go on or in our bodies. It also includes life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. Wilma Wooten, you talked about cases rising. What you didn't talk about is the suicides rising. You didn't talk about the mental health disorders that are deadly that we're seeing our families battle every single day. Also, our teachers, our healthcare workers, our military, if anybody, they are the ones who they're standing in the gap for us. We trust them with our lives. We absolutely should trust them to make their own medical decisions. We should be standing, you all should be standing against government overreach and medical segregation, but instead you are recommending that all employers require vaccines. So in this meeting, I have heard you speaking about immigration, about people that are fleeing oppressive regimes and persecution. You're right, America is a beacon. It is what people hope for and run to. If America violates our human rights, and coerces our taxpayers and our breadwinners, then where will people flee to? What do we have to hope for if we can't hope in America? It doesn't matter. What do we have to hope for if we can't hope in America? It doesn't matter what your party tells you. There is a judge, and your actions will be weighed in balances. Time will judge you. Be on the right side of history. Stop the political theater. We do not consent. We will not comply. Thank you, Jim Desmond.
We will be back with more comments from different groups after the break.
Thanks for rejoining us as we continue to offer some of the views of San Diego citizens who went before the Board of Supervisors this week.
Here is a series of more testimony of those comments.
My name is Brittany Mayer, Rooted Wings on Instagram. Nathan Fletcher, I tagged the heck out of you, so I'm sure that you are very familiar with me. Jim Desmond, thank you for your work. Wilma Wooten, this is also directed at you along with Nathan Fletcher. America is not a hospital. California is not a hospital. San Diego, it's not a hospital. This is a constitutional republic that guarantees protection of individual freedom and liberty and due process. This applies to our individual pursuits of medical interventions and health practices. San Diego is not a hospital floor that we collectively have checked into that subjects all patients to equitably prescribed medical care with no due process. Our Constitution does not secure for government power to impose forced equity in medical mandates and interventions or the power to punish carte blanche. There are 3.338 million people in power to punish carte blanche. There are 3.338 million people in San Diego County, 3,811 people who have died with COVID. Of those, 96%, 3,652 had comorbidities with hypertension, diabetes, cardiac disease accounting for the top 3. Median age 77. That is a total fatality rate of 0.1%. 3.338 million people. That is a clear affinity for a specific vulnerable age and health demographic with majority fatalities prior to available treatment options and prevention. 91% of San Diegans, 60-69, received the injection. 98%, 70-79, received the injection. We remove consent from treating us like we are patients in a hospital ward. We are done. The consent of the governed is removed. We will not comply. We do not consent. Nathan Fletcher, you are on notice. We will constitutionally remove all petty tyrants beginning now.
Your time is up. Thank you. Next speaker.
I'm Samuel Duth. I'm one of the pastors here in the city of San Diego. And before I get started, I just wanted to honor Jim Desmond. Thank you for standing up. Thank you for being a voice for the people, for we the people, standing up and being one of the only voices of truth and reason on this. So like I said, I'm a pastor, so 2 minutes is almost impossible, but I'm going to do my best. I'm also a husband. I'm also a father of 2 beautiful girls. And like I said, I'm part of the pastoral team at Awaken Church here in San Diego. And there's 5 locations around the area representing well over 10,000 plus people that are we the people, that are representatives, or that you guys represent. And we do not consent to what is going on. As a pastor, we were one of the churches, one of the few churches that remained open. Obviously, like many, we initially were closed because we didn't know. We didn't know exactly the effects of it. Once we realized this was not a health issue, this was a control issue, we stayed open, we remain open, and we will never close again. We will never stop having services. Here's why. Here's why. Not because we want to be open, like many of accused churches, not because we're trying to collect money. We are open because we love people, because we care about people. And every single Sunday that we were open, especially in that beginning time, every single week at every campus without fail, we had someone say, I was about to commit suicide because of everything going on. I was desperate. I was at the end of my rope. I searched and said, God, please let there be somewhere I could go. Please let there be a church. And we were the only ones open. They came. And because of that, their life and their generation after them is spared because we stayed open and we love people. I encourage you and I challenge you, do not lock down. Do not force masks. Do not force vaccines. We the people want to remain free. Amen. Thank you.
Thanks for having me. My name is David Chittick, owner of the Coffee Co. in Escondido. Today I want to honor everybody who's here because we need to continue to do this. I want to honor Supervisor Jim Desmond as well for being a voice for the people. As well, I feel like I have a mandate in my life, and it's to give people courage. I feel like so many of us lack courage, and so I wanted to direct this next minute and 30 seconds to Supervisor Nathan Fletcher because I believe not to yell at you or criticize you, but to inject courage on the inside of you. I believe that right now is a moment that you were born for. In fact, my Bible says for such a time as this, and I believe that if you can deep down inside, I know you know what is right. I know you know what you need to do. I know that there might be some people pressuring you from the outside, but today I believe that if you can make a decision to stand up and do what is right, you will have the support of the people of the United States of America. You might lose the support of the elite, but you will gain the support of the people. You will gain the support if you can do what is right. I believe that this is your moment to do that. I believe that this is your moment. If you were to search yourself, you know that inside of you, you can stand up and say, I'm going to do what is right for the people of this country, for the people of this county. I believe that San Diego is born for a purpose. I believe that we're going to influence the rest of the state. We're going to influence the rest of this nation. And I believe it can start here and it can start now. I can promise you that if you decide to do that, you will have our support. But I can also promise you, if we decide and if you decide not to do what is right, I can promise you with every fiber and being that's on the inside of me, we will do everything we can to ensure that at this moment, it will be your last moment in office, and we will elect people that stand up for the rights of the people of this county. Thank you.
Hi, my name is Heather Cobble, and I'm a registered nurse here in San Diego. I actually resigned from my job yesterday as a registered nurse because of this state mandate to be vaccinated. I was no problem working in the healthcare system over the last 18 months without a vaccine, but now, all of a sudden, I'm a threat to public health? Tell me where this makes sense. All of you sitting up here with your masks on, you know that those masks don't do anything. As a healthcare provider, we are taught how to use PPE. We're taught universal precautions, and we know how to implement them when we're dealing with patients who have a viral infection. I don't understand how you guys don't see the bigger picture here. What you're doing is you're creating a healthcare crisis. We already have a nursing shortage in America. So now in San Diego County, I know for a fact there's several hospitals that are operating on an all-bed crisis. Do you know why we're doing that? Wilma, do you know why? Because we have a healthcare shortage, nursing shortage, excuse me. And you know that. These numbers are skewed. The testing is skewed. This needs to stop. I don't understand. Nathan, you can't even look at anybody when they're up here speaking. It's so rude. So rude. And I do have to say one thing. Jim Desmond, I want to thank you personally because I have reached out to you over the last 18 months, and you are the only supervisor to ever respond to any one of my emails. So thank you. Thank you.
My name is Susie Williams-Zellers, and what an honor and privilege it is to be here today in front of all of you. Thank you for listening to us. Thank you for paying attention. And today, as I stood in line outside of this building, what it reminded me was how great it felt to be an American. Yeah. A sobering reminder of the absolute gift we have been giving as a free constitutional republic. My voice can be heard. I'm here today as a patriot, as a woman, and as a mother. And I am grateful for my church that is Awakened Church of my spiritual family through this time. I come here today because if I didn't, what type of a mother would I be if I could not stand up for my children? I have a Bachelor of Science in Child Development and Psychology and a master's degree in prosthetics. I make prosthetic limbs for our soldiers, our fallen heroes who have had their limbs blown off in wars, who have fought for the freedom that I stand on this stage today. My children and myself will no longer deal with California's political theater of the masks. My children will see smiles when they go to school. My children, because it is important of their age to learn the proper enunciation and phonics and smiles, and children learn through laughter and play and a preschool and elementary age. We need to see your smiles. I know this is difficult. But take off the mask. Enough with the political theater. We, the people, have spoken, and we will not back down. The silent majority is no longer silent. Me, as a mother, I will never back down for my freedom and for the rights of my children. Please, anything more infectious than this COVID-19 can be a smile. Thank you. God bless you.
All of these comments were not seeking any specific remedy since the supervisors had no measure to pass or reject before them.
It was only an opportunity to share their feelings and viewpoints to underline for the board their sense of being controlled by the body's rulemaking and following that of Governor Newsom and the state.
When we return, we'll have reaction from more who attended and also review the response to it all by its target chair, Nathan Fletcher.
As you've been hearing and watching, we've had a lot of reaction from San Diegans. First, we hear from gym owner Louis Uridel.
He was one of those speakers at Tuesday's board meeting. Here is his view of Mr. Fletcher's response.
Supervisor Jim Desmond was definitely appreciative of many people that came out to voice their opinions, to be heard. It's the democratic way. It's the way of the people to be able to speak. Although I did hear Nathan Fletcher gave a little statement regarding people on Twitter.
We do have a screenshot of a tweet that went out. That was a point in which, we heard from some of the speakers a little frustrated that he seemed to not be paying attention and rather in his phone. And they commented on the fact that he had been posting on Twitter. This is a look at it. We had to, of course, cross out an expletive there towards the bottom, but basically saying that, he felt it wasn't fair for people to be saying that they researched it, that they probably didn't know how to even do research. What are your thoughts on that? Because you are really speaking to a matter of health issues, something we know, that the the comorbidity of obesity and COVID-19. That was really, as a gym owner, a point for you. What was your reaction to his tweet?
First of all, I think Nathan Fletcher needs a hug. He needs something coming on in his life. But yeah, a lot of people that went there were a lot of health professionals. There were doctors, there were nurses that actually work in the field of health. They were actually citing things that went on at their hospital. So I'm not sure where he came off saying that about people. And the stats I got were straight from the county website and straight from the world website. I cited Israel as having one of the highest vaccination rates. That's straight from a website. That's data. That's not anything anyone researches. It's not like I did a study on something. I'm not sure. I mean, Nathan Fletcher took a heat yesterday, but it was well-deserved. You know, he definitely had it coming. So it's kind of hard to feel bad for the guy that constantly puts himself out there in that way.
Well, it was certainly quite a unique event, an expression of concerns and even anger over a sense of being controlled by an elected body. How they all felt was out of touch with their feelings, needs, and desires. And it was a real sense of venting, we can say, and an example of what is at stake for so many citizens with their children, businesses, health, and liberty in the mix.
We wanted you to see it and make your own conclusions. More of this is on our website, of course, and we always encourage related issues.